Alright, hey guys, it's Old Rip Company B. We're going to do another video here tonight. We're going to do a video on basically probably two things here. How to load by the 9 count and how to load in a battle scenario. This is not just for reenactors, this is for general information about the war between the states and how this weapon was used by the infantry soldier during those times. And I'll go over a little bit of the equipment, what I'm wearing, and maybe go into some more detail about maybe some projectiles these were fired and so on and so forth. But to start off with, the first piece of equipment you see is we have the 1853 British Enfield. Alright, I have another video on my page that you can go to that talks about more information about these weapons. This would have been one of the most commonly used, second most commonly used rifle by the infantry during the war. If you don't know what infantry is the foot soldier or the backbone of the army. You have cavalry, which is man on horseback, and artillery, which are the guys with the big guns. So then you got infantry. Other items I have on me is I have a bayonet and scabbard. We're not going to use this today. Have cap box. All right. Cap box holds the caps. Alright, caps is a little piece of brass that has formulated mercury inside of it. This is the ignition system to the weapon. Alright. Then you have the cartridge box. Alright, which shockingly, guess what it holds? But you can't guess it. A cartridge! Yes, cartridges. Alright. Now these would have been filled. Oops. What about reenactors use 60 grains, but the actual round would have been about 68 to 70, followed by the 58 caliber bullet that was all wrapped up in this little cartridge. All right. Now, each soldier would have been issued 40 rounds, being 10-round packs. Anyway, so this equipment we got on today, and we do have it on properly how the soldier would have worn it. A good soldier could have loaded 3 rounds per minute. A good British soldier with an enfield and with British accoutrements. British accoutrements being the cap box would be on my strap here. I would have a ball pouch where my cap box is right now. I still have the same cartridge box, except I would have pulled out, instead of using these things have what they call tins inside. Now most reenactors, what we do is we open up our packs and we just stuff individual rounds into those tins. Well, during the actual war, those tins would have held individual packs of about 10 rounds of ammunition, being able to hold about 40 rounds. That was standard issue. Excuse me. They would open up the rounds, they would stuff them in the ball pouch, which would hold, about 10 rounds. One probably being Williams Cleanser. Then you have the caps right here. A good British soldier could have fired about 4 rounds per minute versus the American soldier 3 rounds per minute. But anyway, soldier would have went to camp instruction, which is basically like boot camp today, and they would have been taught to load this weapon by the 9 count, which is 9 times. All right, and by the 9 count, soldier would have been told to come to attention or order arms, attention or arms, whatever we like to. Call to attention, and they have been told to prepare to load by the 9 count. Load. And at that point, soldier would have brung it out. I'm going by Hardy's manual. There's other manuals, such as William Scott, Gillen, whatever you want to go to. We're going to do Hardy's or revised Hardy's or the North Carolina manual, whichever one you like to put it at. Soldier would have brung the rifle from the order or the attention position, brung it out in front of him, flipped it around with the barrel sticking outward, and placed the butt of the weapon on the outside of his left foot, bringing the barrel at an angle to where the front of the muzzle was straight in front of him. Then he would take his right hand, place it on his cartridge box. Then he'd been told to handle cartridge. He would have then pulled out one of these lovely things out of our cartridge box, a cartridge, powder, ball, flipped it up and put it beside his mouth. And then we've been told to, or between his teeth, tear a cartridge, tear the paper, spit it out, have it right here by the muzzle. Then it'd been to charge cartridge. You pour the powder, the ball. I place mine in here since I'm in the house. I want to fire the weapon. Pour it in everything, and then would place his thumb and index finger onto the ramrod. And then we've been told to draw a rammer. Bring it up. The tulip would sit on the very outside of the barrel, off at a 45-degree angle, off to the right. And then it would have been ram cartridge. Drop it down the barrel. Index finger and thumb outwards like that. That way if it goes off, you only lose 2 fingers instead of your whole half of your hand. Okay. Next order would have been to return rammer. Down. Pinky. Finish off seating it down. You do this again to make sure if the rifle goes off, you don't lose half your hand, you only lose 1 finger. Alright? So, then you've been told to prime. By the time you come to prime, basically is you bring your the nipple of the cone of the weapon, half cock, and you bring it above your cap box. Got off at an angle to keep the powder ball from rolling out. But this is step number 8, where I'm at right now. Reach into your cap box, pull out your cap, place it onto the cone with the nipple of the weapon, and then remain at the ready or at prime. And then we've been told on the 9th step we would come to shoulder arm, shoulder arms. And there you have it. That is how a soldier would have done it in camp of instruction. Now, on a normal battlefield, when Private was standing there, he'd been told to load, and it was just automatic. Then fire, and then come back. Okay? So, that is how it would have been done. Basically, you really can't really go wrong with this. If I've got any tips for you. Number 1 is, once you have fired, and that hammer comes down, smashes that cap onto the cone. Whatever you do, now people, will tell you left or right, oh, I've done this all my life and it's never happened. Well, that's because maybe they've possibly gotten lucky all their life. After you fired it, and you fired maybe 4 or 5 rounds, you've got some powder buildup, some filing buildup in your barrel, because you're using true black powder. At least you should be. You shouldn't be using that, Powder X or Holligan's, whatever it is, the name of the company. That modern smokeless black powder. You should not be using that in these barrels. These barrels are not tempered to use that kind of powder, that kind of hot of powder, that hot of powder. Now, people, again, that's another thing people tell you, well, I use it all day long. That's because, like I said, you've gotten lucky. Anyway, you've got powder buildup. You fire half cock and you throw that cap off. Guess what you just did with this weapon? You have now created an air circulation into the weapon. You bring it down, you grab another round, you tear it open, you got an air circulation going through. So whatever is unburned in there that's still hot and it starts to burn again, you pour powder, you just put a grenade in your hand. With that cap down, it seals it enough to cut off all air circulation through this barrel. And it's now safe to load. That would be one of my tips to you. Another one would be, whenever you're loading, or if you are loaded, you don't have to be far and do this number all day long. Oh, I'm loaded, keep the barrel away from here. Now, you can, if you're order arms, you can still do the normal thing, maybe lean a little bit so it's not in your face, but, don't over-exaggerate the number. Be mindful of your peers around you. And whatever you do, I don't care if you're loaded or not. When you come up, I don't care if your commanding officer tells you that we're not hunting ducks today, level. If you come level and you're pointing straight at him, have some common courtesy. Either bring your rifle over or bring it up. Don't point it straight at him. It's just, that's gun safety there. You know, what I've always been told, treat a gun as if it's got a laser beam coming out of it, and wherever you're pointing at, you want to cut it in half or destroy. Keep that in mind. So if you ever have a commanding officer, just don't point at him. He'll appreciate it. Yeah, don't take the cap off. Use real black powder, true triple F or double F, Go-X, Black Diamond, I think is what they're called. I think Go-X is the company that, I mean, they own this company, but there's another grade of powder. It's called reenactor powder, reenactor grade. And basically what it is they went to a triple F or double F real black powder facility, and they swept up the floor and got what was left over. Now, I'm not saying they actually swept up the floor and that's what you're using. They used what was left over. So it could be, if you look at it, you can definitely tell the difference between the double F and the triple F size of the grain of the powder. That's fine. That's totally fine. It's safe to use because it is, you know, a slow burning true black powder. But if you're using, you know, these weapons for sport, you know, you might want to try to go with a Go-X where you know exactly what kind of powder you're using as far as double F or triple F. But anyway, yeah. Another tip I could give you is, you treat your weapon fine, it'll treat you fine. You know, do PMs on it, which is preventable maintenance. If you don't know what that means, you know, tear it apart, clean it. You know, just, you're sitting at home, you got nothing to do. You haven't been to a reenactment in, you know, oh God, let's see, 4 or 5 months, and you haven't touched your enfield in a while. You know you cleaned it when you came home, but you haven't touched it in a while. Go ahead, take it apart, tear it down, see if there's rust build up underneath the barrel where it's touching your stock. Check your lock plate. Maybe there's some rust going on. Maybe there's some wear on the lock plate that you can't see. Just take it apart and see what's going on. You know, just like I said, treat her good, she'll treat you good. All right. Another thing I hear people always talk about is how much emphasis they put on the metal work and the lock of the gun. Yeah, that is mainly important. Check your stock too. Your stock is made out of wood. You know, you gotta put oil on the stock just as well, kind of preserve it. What I did when I got mine, had it for about 3 years, and I completely sanded her down using steel wool. I rubbed all that, you know, that factory finish that was on the stock, and then I took boiled linseed oil and I rubbed down the barrel, you know, on the stock, and it resealed it, and it gave it another layer of oil protection to the stock. Yeah, that's basically what I got for you on loading. Just know that, you know, yeah, a good soldier could load 3 times, and a good British soldier about 4 times. Now there might have been, you know, some of them super freaks out there that could probably load it way faster than that. Who knows? But it kind of, you know, it shows you where that demand for faster repeating weapons to come out, such as the Henry and the Spencers and so on and forth, to those weapons. But for the standard infantry soldier, this is what you carried from 61 to 65. And this is how we fought. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or maybe some comments on the video, please just feel free to comment whatever. I'll answer as quickly as I most possibly can. If you want to know more details about, you know, how to load, anything you can think of, you want more details on anything that I'm doing, maybe the equipment I got, maybe some other equipment you've seen me shown, or have questions, do I have this equipment, do I know this? Please ask. I'm full of information and I love sharing it. I mean, that's what I do. If I had the patience, I would become a teacher, but I don't. I'd smack a kid, so yeah, there's that. But yeah, subscribe, like, comment, if you want to. Thank you for watching. I'm already co.b.